Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm your bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One-of-a-kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy myself, they can't.
Introduce yourself, first of all, to the camera doll.
My name is Shaun, Colledge, and I'm the director of A Year in the Life of 25 Strangers Living in a City by the Lake.
Now, what inspired you to direct this play? You wrote the screenplay?
I didn't write the play. Matt Fotis, who lives in Chicago, had submitted the play to 10 Grand Productions a couple years back, and they did a reading of it, and my roommate is a member of 10 Grand Productions and asked me to direct it.
So you decided to take on this project?
As a favor to a friend, always willing to help.
Tell my audience a little bit about the synopsis of the play.
The synopsis, basically, it covers a year in the life of 25 strangers who aren't necessarily all connected to each other personally, but through the fact that they all know, through 1 or 2 degrees, this guy Darren who passed away by a car accident. So it's basically little glimpses of their lives in different moments of either getting married, breaking up, brothers having a situation, relationships that might be blooming or may not be blooming. It's up for the audience to decide what actually happens after the scene ends.
Well, we want to leave a little bit of a surprise for the audience. We want people to be intrigued by the story, which is very intriguing. I mean, it sounds to me like these characters in the play, through the course of the play and the story of their friend passing away, they learn a little bit more about themselves.
Oh, totally. Correct. What it basically ends up doing is we have a scene per month, so we'll have one in January, February, March, April, through down to December, usually revolving around a holiday. So you have New Year, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, and it's basically a 6 or 7 minute snapshot of what's actually going on in their lives at that present time, but how it all interconnects to their lives in reference to Darren, who passed away. And then also how it's a lot of connections between so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so all know so-and-so who did this, and then we find out 3 months later what actually occurred after that incident occurred to then kind of get a full picture. But the audience has a whole lot of leeway on what they actually think happens in the very end.
Tell my audience, how many people are in the ensemble of the whole play, the cast?
We have 26. All 26 are all principal actors, have their own character, have their whole backstory, and through line throughout the story.
Interesting. Now, you've done other plays, or is this the first play that you've directed?
This is the first play in New York. I was resident director of a theater down in Katy, Texas for 3 years, doing everything from The Glass Menagerie with Tennessee Williams to...
It's a wonderful play.
Isn't it? Loved it. To, you know, Moliere, Shakespeare, anything you can think of. We do the whole full repertoire. I'm used to having a large ensemble cast, usually in a unit set or with a complete through line. With this play, it's interesting because normally I have 2 to 4 actors on stage in sort of vignettes, these 5-minute snapshots. So it's interesting not having the full cast every day in rehearsals, of seeing these 2 members, and I might not see them again for another week, and seeing where they've grown to since then. So it's been kind of a nice little directing exercise for me.
Now, did you have your hand in casting the actors in the play?
I did. I was in all the casting sessions and had final say over what actors did get finally cast. One of the reasons why this play did get picked is because it has a large cast, and 10 grand is an institution that's been around for several years, and they're trying to get more into the production end of it. So we wanted to use as many 10 grand members who have been loyal to the company as possible. But we did have open casting through Backstage and through some other websites. So it's about half and half, about half 10 grand members and half open non-equity actors, and we do have one equity actor within the company to make it an equity showcase.
Now, you're an actor as well. Not only are you a director, but you're also a pretty well-known actor.
I'm not well-known in the New York community. I spent the last 4 years stage managing for Phantom of the Opera. We just opened Gypsy on Broadway, where I was a production coordinator.
Here in New York?
In New York.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I spent a lot of my time trying to make a living off of theater.
Yeah. If we can't do the acting, at least we can live off of being surrounded by show business.
Completely.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel about that.
Yeah, I made a promise to myself when I moved to New York. I'm like, if I can find some way to make a living within the theatrical business or the film industry, I will do that.
That's why I'm doing this. I'm an actress too, so I'm a talk show host. I make
Come be in my play. Come on.
I'm living off of a show business by doing this, what I'm doing tonight, right now, interviewing you and showcasing your talent.
Well, the only thing I'm upset about is that we're not able to pay the actors for this production, but it is paving the way to then, hopefully a year or two from now, we'll be having full-blown productions with professional actors.
It's wonderful. They can put this on their resume, and and they need this. You know, most actors need this that come to New York.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm enjoying it because we have a full range of actors, from people who have been in the industry professionally for 10 years to those who have just been graduating college and this is their first professional production that they've been able to do.
Now, are you from Texas?
I'm originally from New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans is a beautiful city.
Oh, I miss it. So much history. The architecture is phenomenal, but I miss it. But now I'm in New York and I picked a place, one, because of the industry, and two, because you look around and there's buildings that have been here for, 100 years. I live in a pre-war building right now.
As long as New Orleans, that's right. The buildings are here maybe even longer than New Orleans.
Oh. Probably.
I think so, yeah.
Now you go up to Broadway and all the buildings are being torn down, and now these new construction, 40-story, I'm going to not say the words I'm thinking of, but what they're doing to this city, I'm not exactly happy about architectural-wise.
Yeah. But you would like to see them keep the historical integrity of all the buildings.
Of course. I mean, all these buildings are now having to go get historical institutionalized, I guess you would say, so they don't tear down. Like, we're about to lose John's Pizzeria on 44th and 8th, right next to the St. James Theater, because they're going to put up another hotel there, which originally was a theater back in 18-something or other, 1857 to 1915. So they still have the full-blown proscenium in there, but they can't get the historical status to keep the building, so that's getting knocked down for, I think, another Mary Art Marquis. We need another hotel?
Not really, but listen, New York City is all about money. You know that.
What?
You know that.
New York, money, theater, money, what?
You know that, darling. So tell me a little bit more about your, do you like living here in New York? It's exciting, it's a fast-paced city.
It's a fast-paced city, except if you're a tourist, and there's so many tourists in the city, so you're trying to get down the street, and you can't get down the street because they're all looking up, and you're looking at your pathway to get around everybody to get to where your location is, and they look at you, what are you doing? I do like it. I mean, it becomes a little strenuous every so often because, it takes 2 hours to go to the grocery store and then to the post office and get your clothes cleaned. So, I mean, I'm from a small town. New Orleans isn't a small town, but, it's a suburban area.
Do you miss it? Do you miss going back home?
I go home once a year. We had the hurricane, which wiped out a lot of stuff.
So devastating.
But life's getting back to normal. Most of the areas that are historical have stayed. All my family's fine. Everything's getting back up to normal. So go back once a year, re-energize yourself, and come back to the big city.
And now you're here, and you're going to make a mark on Manhattan. You're going to make a mark on
Just
the
way
Big
that I've worked ever since, I guess I was 14 years old, is if you do good work, people will bring you back, and people will find out about you. And I don't always do the advertising because I want I want my loyal crew. And I've done well so far with that. And the more I work, the more people will know about me.
Okay. Well, are you going to give me a kiss goodbye, darling?
Totally.
Give me a kiss.
All right.
Mwah.
Thank you very much. Come see the show.
We will. Keep watching. More celebrity interviews coming up, darlings. Pink champagne kisses.
You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls.